Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Four Lads Rangers match reaction. Not this isn't going to be for the faint-hearted. I wouldn't have imagined. Not long back from Fir Park myself, an extremely disappointing evening, an absolutely dreadful second half. Kenny, there's so much to discuss. Thanks for joining me, my friend. How are we?
I'm not bad. I'm glad you waited, or you were driving back from Motherwell, because if we did this right after the final whistle, it might have been a little bit nasty. But no, disappointing evening, mate. So plenty to dissect and get through.
Yeah, there certainly is. Where do we start? The team selection, Kenny. Hindsight is absolutely everything. Kieran Dowell once again started on the right hand side. Apart from that, it was a team that we probably could have all picked. Finlay Curtis dropped out completely and never got on. He was on the bench, obviously, but never got on at all. Kieran Dowell played the 90 minutes, which we'll come to. Gassama did come in and start. That was the only change I would have considered Kieran Dowell not playing. We've made our feelings quite clear on that. The game started, Rangers were actually fine, I think. Started well enough. There was a good passage of play in the 8th minute, and Gassama pulls one just wide after a good move from the back. Danilo then hits the bar, and then Rangers score. And you think, great, we're going to go and build on this. You've got that early goal. Never materialised to anything after such a positive 15 minutes.
I thought the first 15, 20 minutes we were, when I say in control of the game, I thought we were controlling it without having total control. I thought we were passing the ball about reasonably well, without creating a huge amount. The Gassama is probably the best of them before Tavernier scored. But I thought Motherwell just looked a little bit dangerous every time they had the ball, and I thought we were far too easy to kind of play through. Even at that stage, I thought that, that, as I say, the word control's kind of maybe not the exact word I'm looking for, but I thought we had a bit of control of the game. But with Motherwell showing that they could pass through quite easily, Stevie, and I didn't have too many concerns because I thought we'd play our way into the game, but the kind of opposite happened, as you know. I expected us to, from when James Tavernier scored the goal from the corner, I expected us to build on that and take confidence from that. And we know how the game panned out, but we'll discuss it. But I was just a little bit disappointed at the lack of creativity, actually, that we showed.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest issue for me, Kenny. The point where we scored after 15 minutes, we created next to nothing. We had a couple of really good, what I thought were maybe 3-on-3s and opportunities to go. I'll give you an example. The one where Dowell was running through and then Danilo ran outside. It's such a bad pass. Danilo then dallies on the ball, get the shot away. There's no incisiveness there. There's no cutting edge. But this isn't a surprise because it's the same players that we've called that out for a number of years. And it's all a bit tepid. It's all a bit lukewarm and not decisive enough. Call a spade a spade. Rangers need to be active. Russell Martin said we need help in the transfer market, and he's absolutely right. And he was quite blunt, in which we'll come to. But some of the football was nice in the first half, but nice. There's no incisiveness. There was nothing. After such a good start, you go 1-0 up within 13 minutes at Fir Park. You've already hit the bar. You've already had a good passing move, creating efforts. That's a platform to go and build and go and drive. The pressure never came. We never ever penetrated into Motherwell, getting them penned back. We never sliced them apart. We never done anything like that. There was no urgency in that formation or team or lineup or anything. It was all tepid. And that's the best way to describe it. And the first half was fine, but it was fine. There was nothing edge of the seat stuff.
And as I say, I thought Motherwell, who have a new manager, new style of play and stuff, looked much more purposeful than we did. when they had the ball. And I mean, I think at the end of the game, they'd have had something like 34% of the ball and created exactly the same amount of chances, the same amount of shots on target, and their XG was 3 times higher than ours. That kind of sums us up. And you've hit the nail on the head for me, Stevie, actually, that when you see the team line up, you see the starting line up there, 4 new starters, 7 of these players that are in that team today, from Butland, Suter, Tavernier, Diamandi, Raskin, Danilo, and Dowell. These guys, without sticking the boot in here for the sake of sticking the boot in, we have come to expect what we watched and witnessed tonight. And that's the issue. And it's the reason why I believe that Russell Martin was livid tonight. I mean, I've put it in a slightly different way in the chat, but he was raging, Stevie. He was absolutely furious because what we resorted to, even in that first half, was type. It's just not what he's asking them to do, and you can tell in the amount of negative passes or backward passes when there's clearly a more positive and attacking pass on. It's just mind-boggling at times, and that's where I was getting really frustrated, is watching the opportunities. And that one that you were mentioning there was 3 or 4 of them in the first half that we had 3v3s or 3v2s even, and the lack of decisiveness or the correct decision making and all that kind of stuff just infuriates me. That pass from Dowell is horrendous, but then instead of just taking a first time strike, Danilo takes a couple of touches, and then he's away down by the byline trying to score from there. You're not scoring from there, and it's all that, and you could, I don't know if you'd have seen it at the ground, Stevie. I don't know where you were, but Danilo was furious, and I don't know if it was about the pass or what he did himself. There's just a huge amount of frustration about tonight's performance overall.
Yeah, certainly was. I mean, we go into the second half and you're thinking, great, we get them in at half time, get them going again, regroup, and fire them up. We're 1-0 up. Doesn't come, and within a couple of minutes, Kenny, the second half, I said to Jim, we've not started yet, and we hadn't. And then Motherwell had a free header at the back post. I don't know if you remember, it came too fast for the boy, and he headed it. And you were like, right, that's a let off. And within a couple of minutes, there was a good block by Giga, and then there was a save by Butland down to his left, and John Suter managed to scramble it clear. They had 3 chances within a 5-minute period where we were all over the place, and the midfield was dreadful, non-existent. And I'm going to talk to you about this before we go on to kind of discuss other bits. The midfield set up Rothwell centrally and the 2 wide guys. When they don't have the ball, they cannot revert to staying out wide. When they go wide, when they have the ball, it's to overlap and create space. And when it works, it's great. See, when they give the ball away, they are 1 pass away from the whole team being turned. And the amount of times Slattery found himself free in the middle and able to break forward for Motherwell, he either didn't get the ball or he was in position to get the ball. And we were wide open. And it's that 1 pass that turns this team. It happened in the first half. I don't know if you remember, the boy went down the right-hand side and fizzed one across and there was nobody there. But it's 1 pass every single time that turns this midfield quite easily. And we look, and we'll get to Russell Martin's comments about not running and things like that. But the issue is when you get into wide positions, the players aren't there to take it. Gassama, the only one free to try and he's getting doubled up on. When the ball goes down the right-hand side, Kieran Dowell is static. He's not moving forward. He's not running. He's not doing anything. We'll come to that. But we are too easily undone by one thing happening. And Motherwell at that point had figured it out, how to set their players and where to do it and when to press and when to win the ball. And when they done it, they were turning on us every single time and we were gifting it to them.
Far too easy to play against, Stevie. We've already said this. in the first couple of games that we've played against Panathinaikos that it's so easy to jump on us, take the ball, and away you go. And it needs addressed, and it needs addressed really, really quickly. And I've just listened to Jack Butland's Rangers TV interview, and I get the distinct feeling that there's a few of them in there that are absolutely furious with certain individuals. Now, who that is open for debate, obviously, but that midfield, there's a real imbalance in there. I think Nico Raskin's getting wasted trying to play out in this left kind of number 8 inside left kind of position, whatever it is. I don't think you're seeing the best of him. I don't think you're seeing the best of Diamandi there either on the other side. However, I thought Joe Rothwell was probably, him and Giga were probably our best players tonight, actually. I thought personally. And I thought Rothwell was actually pretty decent up to a point. Now, people will see that and hear that and maybe think I'm, nuts. But I thought he was all right. But I do think that this system isn't suiting these particular players. And I think when it comes to the likes of Thilo Asgard coming, getting fit and starting, he is a surefire starter in this system. And I think that might help. But the issue, as you say, is that we see in there, Stevie, you were at the game, as I say, I'll ask you that one. We just seem to give the ball away so easily in there. And that's what's causing us a lot of problems. Now, I might be wrong in that, just watching it on the TV tonight, but I thought that the amount of bad passes in there that were just leaving us wide open was horrendous.
What I would say is that Motherwell played our game, played us at our own game and played it a lot better. They were able to move it out from the back more comfortably than we were. They pinned the press. And we had them, I think, on the back foot the first 30 minutes, and then they sussed us out quite quickly. Once that happened, as I said, we were wide open. Too many players in positions where it's not affecting the game. You basically had at times fullback, winger, your number 8s all out wide. And when that happens, it's one pass from that and your whole midfield is exposed. We play very narrowly at times. And then when we aren't and when we have the ball, it's almost like we're standing on the touchline and it's just easily picked apart. I thought at times we were pulling the ball, yes, but there's no movement. There's no movement in there. We know, look, Oliver Antman will arrive at Rangers in a couple of days, which is fantastic, and we'll get to that. But by Christ, it's needed because we are really struggling. And I think you can see that when you look at the number 9, who's not getting into the game at all. Danny didn't have any kind of form today at all. Desser's the same. They're not getting the ball. And I think that's the biggest issue. But Motherwell, Kenny, as the second half went on, they were having efforts that were going high and wide. But these were good efforts. They were clear opportunities. They were getting Suter missed a tackle and they were in and we were kind of scrambling back. And these are things that were happening. And everybody in that away end was saying, this goal's coming. This goal is coming. We need to fix this. And there was times on the left-hand side, the big Motherwell fullback, big giant of a boy at left back, he was bombing forward, basically unmarked the whole game because Dill wasn't tracking him. And the frustrating thing about that will come to when it comes to the substitutions and that, which I thought were all wrong. But that's just my opinion. The Motherwell goal finally comes. At the point where it finally comes, Tavernier and Dowell, who are on the right side where it comes to, that boy's unmarked and they two are jogging back. And I've got no idea why that's happening, but that's clearly what Russell Martin, for me, is talking about in his press conference. You can't pick and choose when you're running. They picked and choose all game tonight, and that's what he's getting at. And it cost us because the goal finally does come. The boy's unmarked and he lashes it in the corner. And I would love to say I'm surprised, but I'm not, because this is what they do.
I've already said this again on the chat, mate. If we'd lost that game 3-4-5-1 tonight, we could not have complained. And, harking back a little bit to the last point we were talking about there in terms of discussing Kieran Dowell and James Tavernier, the lack of movement all across the pitch is appalling at times. Danilo, Kieran Dowell, Nico Raskin, Mo Diamandi, their lack of movement was really obvious, I thought, particularly defensively. Now, the thing that really concerns me about that was Russell Martin has said that, if anything else, we will run harder and run faster and be fitter than everybody else. And those Motherwell players were running past our players as if they weren't there tonight. And that's the concern for me. However, if you look at I've sent you the notes because you were at the game, so I've written the notes for tonight. And I don't know at what point I've said it, but somewhere about 55 minutes or an hour, I've said Dowell is downright lazy here. He was just so lazy. The guy would go past him, and that would be him, just not even jogging back. It's strolling back. James Tavernier, we know, does this. And the defending for the actual goal, it's appalling, mate. I don't know if you've seen it back yet. I've seen it 3 or 4 times now, and it gets worse every time I see it. When you look at Kieran Dowell and James Tavernier, they're sauntering about. Well, the guy meanders into our box, and neither of them do anything about it. Nothing at all. So no wonder Russell Martin came out with what he said, and I've just heard a little bit of the press conference as well, and he's just as forceful in the press conference. He's not going to back down on this. He has had enough of. And if you think about this, Stevie, he talked about the mentality last weekend against Middlesbrough in the warm-up, where he said the mentality wasn't right. So there is and he's talked about it again today. There is a real issue in this squad, but it's not anything that you or I or anybody watching this or any other Rangers fan doesn't know about the mentality of this squad. But this is the first time I've heard any of our managers, perhaps in Steven Gerrard, absolutely eviscerate our squad for the lack of conviction, the lack of effort, and the lack of a strong mentality. And it's been needing saying for a long, long time. And to say it first game of the season shows you exactly where Russell Martin is. He must think most of that squad is absolute dog meat, mate. He must.
He spoke about mentality. He was very strong. We'll talk about that for a minute. Russell Martin came out and he said that players, the minimum they have to do is run fast and run hard, and they picked their time. He spoke about egos and players needing to do that. He spoke about players' self-preservation, that when things go well, everybody's all in. When they go badly, it's the same thing. They revert to type. That was his exact words. He said they should look at the only person that's had a bid in for them is Cyril Dessers, and he came on and he was running hard and fast. Talks about Lyle Cameron when he came on, and basically he has a go at them, and he says that basically he'll find out who wants to come with him and who wants to be a part of it and who wants to work hard. Right, this is all great for me, and I don't mind it in the slightest, right? Because we know it's true and we know that these things have happened. So, see on Tuesday night, if Russell Martin lines up and James Tavernier is still captain at right back and Max Aarons is still playing on the left, he's not learning anything. The midfield is imbalanced. The team's imbalanced, actually. By putting Aarons on the left, you're completely taking away what he can offer you, and you're actually, as well as that, your whole team is lopsided. You could just about get away with John Shooter, Kenny, I think, on the left, if you've got an actual lefty playing next to him. We all know the issues with Jeffy, right? We all know it, and you can say whatever you want about Jeffy. Jeffy at left back and Aarons at right back, for me, has to happen. So that's job one, right? That's an immediate thing. If you keep playing the same players that let you down, and he's called that out today, then fine. The midfield's completely imbalanced. It doesn't work. The sooner Asgard gets in there, the better, because he's naturally left-sided. Raskin and Diamandi, whether we like it or not, Diamandi was awful today. So I agreed with him coming off. I didn't mind that in the slightest. But Raskin and Rothwell off at the same time for me wasn't the correct thing to do. You need to fix that. Raskin's our best player. You either play him where he can or you don't play him because he looks completely out. He's playing on the left half the time and he doesn't look comfortable. How many times did he on the left side try to cross that in with his left foot? He can't do it. So I don't think he looks comfortable in there. Swap them round. If Raskin's I know why he's playing on the left because he's trying to protect Aarons as well. I understand that completely. But see, for the sake of having James Tavernier at right back, the mistakes in the formation then, Aarons is having to play on the left, Raskin's having to play on the left, and they're all having to defend other positions instead of just playing the ones that he should have been. Now, we're very lucky to get a point today. Motherwell had clear opportunities to go and win that game, so I've got no issue with that. But you then look at the forward line. Kieran Dill shouldn't start another game for Rangers. I don't care about that. Number 9 position, as much as I love Danny, he's not offering anywhere near enough. Eagleman needs to start for me. Whenever he's fit, he needs to be our number 9. So if we go to Tuesday night, Kenny, and after giving such a strong press conference today and talking about egos and players that aren't going to come with them and blah, 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 see if we go the same again. Those are just words, and it's words that every single person in the Rangers support are sick of hearing because we all know where the issue is. We all know the players that are the issue. Russell Martin's seen it now firsthand. He's got to fix it. See if he doesn't, it's just words for me, and that to me is as bad as anybody else.
Well, you were there. You seen and heard the reaction from the away support tonight. Russell Martin heard it. He didn't shy away from that. He understood it. The issue is, as I say, Stevie, that if it's this old definition of madness, isn't it? If you repeat the same mistakes over and over again, expecting a different result, then you're mad. And this is where we are at. We've said it for a long, long time, well over a year now on this podcast, that whether people agree with it or not, we're looking at the stats, we're looking at the situation that we're in, we're looking at the results that we have, and Tavernier needs replaced. There is absolutely no question of this. I find it incredibly unfair to bring a brand new signing in and put him out of position like this and make him look as awkward and as uncomfortable as he is in Max Aarons. He is so uncomfortable at left back. It is doing that boy no good whatsoever. Get him in his natural position, play him at right back. If anything, if you really don't want to play Jeffy, go and play James Tavernier at left back. See how well he does there, because the Max Aarons on the left-hand side isn't working. Kieran Doyle, couldn't agree more with you. I don't care who plays it right, wing or wing the right-hand side.
Can I just say one thing? See, the biggest issue I've got with having to play James Tavernier in there and play Aarons at left, you're having to change other people just to fit that in. Raskin's having to play on the left-hand side to cover for Aarons. He's not comfortable. Max Aarons is on the left. He's not comfortable. Drop your captain. We talked about this last summer. This isn't just a Stevie and Kenny going back on what we've said. James Tavernier needs to come out of that team immediately. Otherwise, the same things are going to continue to happen. We're actually hurting the team by playing guys on wrong sides just to make sure he's playing. Or that's how it looks like. I understand Jeffy's issues. I get it 100%. But I'd rather have a 50% left back and Jeffy in there than damage my team and take others away from being comfortable like they are, mate. And that's, sorry, I'm a bit irate on that point because it's so annoying to see 2 or 3 getting shuffled just to try and facilitate one thing.
And you're absolutely right, Stevie. You are correct. Certainly, in my opinion, you're correct. The issue, as you say, you mentioned a really pertinent point, is the amount of times that Nico Raskin was getting a byline and trying to cross a ball with his left foot when he can't do it. That's pointless. It's a waste of time. It's all right getting into the position that Russell Martin wants his team to be in, but if you can't cross a ball with your left foot, then what's the point in doing it? I would take Diamandi out of this team. Actually, I think he's not been great in any of the 3 games, and I like Mo Diamandi as a player, but I just don't think this is suiting him at all. I would much rather Nico Raskin played much more naturally there. I totally agree. I think you look at the balance against Panathinaikos when you have to come on, and there was an instant, more solid look about us and a more balanced look. There's a clear imbalance right through the side. Cairndale offers you nothing. Nothing. He's not good defensively. He's not good going forward. I don't know what it is. I think the only thing that I can genuinely see that he's got going for him at this minute in time is that Russell Martin wants a left footer to play on the right wing, and he's a left footer playing on the right wing. Other than that, I'm bamboozled as to why this guy's playing. You have to look at it and say Danilo, Dowell, John Suter at times was in and out of the side. The amount of players that we have got playing for us at this minute in time that we weren't even first choice in a team. Jack Butland's another one that weren't necessarily first choices at times last season in a team that finished 17 points behind. We know where these guys are, and I'm glad that Russell Martin has today actually just went, nah, this is just not good enough. So I do agree with you in terms of I don't want to see Max Aarons at left back again. I genuinely don't. You can't play there, Stevie. It's not fair on him. It's not doing the team any favours whatsoever. And it's okay, as I said, I don't want to sit there and overly stick the boot into Russell Martin, but it's okay saying all these things. Do something about it. You need to rectify this. It's okay understanding where you are now in the environment you're playing in, and that's the reaction you're going to get. And Jack Butland's saying the same. The players need to learn quickly. But it's not the new players that necessarily are going to be the issue here. It's certain players that are just, they've been here too long, mate, and they're not, how would you put this without being nasty? They're just not going to cut it.
No, well, I think we're all clear on that. I think that's absolutely clear to everyone. There's only ever going to be, and we spoke about this, this isn't something that's suddenly again us changing our mind. We spoke about it all summer. We've said that this squad isn't good enough. This squad needs a massive amount of change mentality wise. He talks about it. We need to fix a lot of things before Tuesday. The biggest issue, again, from those comments is he now has to act, Kenny. He has to act. We will look at Tuesday on Monday night's live show. As for today, I would say that 5 players easily played themselves out of that 11. We should have lost today. I think that's quite clear. Motherwell had 5 clear opportunities. The stats, 2.21 XG for all the people that like the stats. He had 17 shots. Over the course of 3 games, Rangers have faced against Panathinaikos and Motherwell, they've conceded just under 40 shots. It tells you a lot about how we're playing and how open we are and how the midfield isn't balanced and how they're suited. We need to fix that. Russell Martin needs to tinker with this because it's not working. There's a lot of players in there that, like he said, about his egos and things like that. But for me, Kenny, Russell Martin will be judged on what he said tonight is great because we think that and that's fine. But if he says that and we come in on Tuesday and it's all the absolute same, it's words for nothing. And for me, Russell Martin gets judged on what he does going forward and the changes he makes because he has to make changes. For Tavernier needs to come out of the team. Aaron's in on his right position. Midfield, Raskin, Diamandi, Rothwell, that needs to be fixed. The balance in that needs to be fixed immediately. You need to get, if Oliver Antman, Rangers are pushing for that to be done in time for Tuesday. So he needs to be registered by Monday night. I don't actually care if he arrives and he's never even knows the names. He has to start on the right because we need that natural balance on the left and right. And you need Hamza Egaman to start as your number 9 as quickly as possible as well. These are immediate changes that have to happen. The midfield of Diamandi, Raskin, Rothwell, I'm not sure how he fixes that or what he does in it, but he has to do something with it and quickly because Raskin and Diamandi aren't playing to their capabilities either. So these are things that he needs to do. But what he said today and what he does on Tuesday, they have to collate with each other. They have to be in sync, because if we go Tuesday same again, then it's just words, and that'll be even worse for me as somebody who was there in the stands tonight and the other thousands that were there, because it's just then noise and pish, and we've had it for years. Change needs to happen quickly. I'm all right with Russell Martin doing that, and if we don't win, if he makes those changes, I'm all right with that, because we're not going to win if we go and do the same thing we've done today.
That right-hand side needs emptied. Both of them. They both can't play on Tuesday for me. The right-hand side in that second half was absolute cannon fodder to a Motherwell side that, with all respect, shouldn't be doing that to a Rangers side. Absolute cannon fodder. Time and time again, just roasted. So that needs changed. I know that they're trying to get the Mikey Moore thing done for Tuesday as well, for Monday as well. But whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. But between if they can get them both registered in time for Tuesday, then you've got three wingers there to choose from in Gassama, Moore, and Antman, if the Antman thing can get done, and you pick two from three of them, and you don't play Daniel. Please just. Three games he's played there, Stevie, and he's just looked out of sorts. He just doesn't look as if he's capable at this minute in time. And I like.
We're also not creating for our nine.
No, exactly.
We were told attacking, passing, football, etc., which will take time. I get that, and it's not a impatient thing. But see, if we don't create for the nine, he's never going to be involved in the game either.
No, I totally agree. However, the with all respect to Motherwell, the budget that they have and compare it to ours, and they're in exactly the same predicament, where they're playing they're trying to implement a very similar style of football to what Russell Martin is doing, and they're 5-6 weeks into theirs, their redevelopment, if you like, and they're miles in front of us going on that performance tonight. So there is more issues than Nabino. That's what I would be saying at this minute in time, with where we're at, because, as you say, we're gifting so many opportunities to our opponents in the three games I've played. It's just silly. It's actually got a bit silly. That second half today was just an absolute horror show. It was terrible to watch. And, we've seen the two first halves against Panathinaikos, and you just can't keep gifting teams these opportunities, mate. You just can't do it. I mean, in those three games, we've managed to somehow only concede 2 goals, where we could have conceded 10 or 11 or whatever. If you're being honest, and that's the issue for me, where I would be. I've got to go this. I'll do this really quickly. I would change that midfield setup entirely. I'd probably play the same three, because I think they're the best three we have. But I would be very inclined to switch Diamandi and Raskin the other side. Let them play much more naturally. The two wingers, Gassama, probably deserves his start. But if Mikey Moore's there, and if Antman gets signed, I'd change the entire front three about a little bit, if you know what I mean. And Max Aarons has got to start at right back. Be brave, be bold, and if anything, mate, you'll get, Russell Martin will get all the respect if he does actually act on what he said today, because that's not good enough. And as a Rangers manager, you have to act on that. So let's see what he does for Tuesday.
Yep, it is drop points on day one, which I think none of us obviously wanted. A few of us maybe expected it, given Panathinaikos' his chances. I was not expecting it, but Rangers just didn't kick on. Decent 15 minutes in the first half, some good moments, and after that, but never really incisively created anything, which was the biggest frustration. Rangers need to find a way to fix it. Russell Martin needs to find a way to fix it, and quickly. This is an unforgiving environment. He knew what he was coming into. But that today, 15 minutes passed, in the game. The rest of it, not good enough. The second half was absolutely dreadful. Russell Martin's come out. He's been open and honest. He says players with ego. He says that the players are self-preservation, the same mentality issues. Then fix it, Russell. You know what the issues are. We all know what the issues are. Be brave. Drop your captain. Drop Kieran Dowell. Drop Diamande. Drop Danilo. Drop the players that are letting you down. If those are the ones that you feel, the ones that aren't running, Raskin, whoever it is, Rothwell, the ones that you think aren't running, drop them. Otherwise, tonight, his words are just empty words, and we'll see what he does. Kenny will be back Monday night with more preview of Victoria. We'll hopefully be talking about Oliver Ant-Man signing, which we hope will be completed in the coming days. All word is that is nearing completion. Rangers have struck a £3 million deal broken by Chris Jack earlier on, and all positive about a medical in the coming days and him being announced and signing. He'll be a good player for Rangers, but we need a lot more than him. But hopefully we'll have that on Monday. The fans booing at 90 minutes spoke volumes of where they are in terms of the old guard. And I spoke about it on Rangers Review and wrote an article on it about the Rangers old guard. Could they stand up and were they able? I think we've got the answer to that. We all know. Tonight hasn't been a great discussion, Kenny, but if anything, we are at least honest and we'll never sugarcoat anything, that's for sure.
There's no point, Stevie. That's not good enough. Whether people want to hear it or not is another issue, obviously, but it's just, that's not acceptable. That kind of performance today. And as you say, this is the third year in the bounce where we haven't won our first game of the season. You start behind the 8 ball right away here because you can bet your backside they'll turn up tomorrow. They'll go 2 points clear of us right away, and the pressure is on everybody. So all these boys that Russell Martin signed, Russell and his backroom team, you're going to feel pressure at our football club. That's what you're going to get. What happened at 90 minutes today is going to happen all the time when you perform like that. Get used to it, get over yourselves, and start making sure you get results. And I don't want to be an arse about it, but that's not good enough. And we are well drilled in disappointment, Stevie, as a fan base, and we're at the end of our tether with this, and we know where the issues lie. It's not with a new manager, and it's not with the new players. We know where the issues are, so get them addressed. Get as many of these, I'm going to say it, failures out the door as quickly as you can, because they'll not do us any favours.
Russell Martin will get time for me, but he won't get time if words like tonight become empty words and he doesn't act on them. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. We'll be back on Monday night to discuss this. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good weekend. Hope you all enjoying it. A huge thanks to our sponsors, Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athlon Industrial Solutions, CSD Air Conditioning, and our partners, Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Big thank you to Jim and the team at Rhino Express for looking after me, getting the match tickets and things today. Really appreciated it. I am only disappointed that it ended in 1 point, but there's a part of me that thinks, yeah, maybe that's all we deserved, or maybe it was more than we deserved, that's for sure. If you haven't liked and subscribed on YouTube, please do. If you're subscribing, that really helps us all get to where we want to be, so we really appreciate it. Thanks to everybody that came to the live show last night in Walter's Bar in Rutherglen. It was a fantastic night. We managed to raise £300 for charity and send over, as well as having a really good night. So we really appreciate that. So thank you very, very much for everybody that joined in on the conversation tonight. Take it easy and have a good weekend. We'll see you all again on Monday Night Live. Take care. Bye for now.
The Four Lads podcast is sponsored by Rhino Express, Clydeview Joinery, Athlon Industrial Solutions Limited, and CSD Air Conditioning, in partnership with Black Rooster and Art of Gold. Thank you for listening to or watching the podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show.